felicitating the winners of the Smart City Hackathon 2021, which Honeywell, Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and Amrita Vidyapeetham did in collaboration. We thought to have a formal closure to this event, felicitating the students, giving them a few minutes of time to showcase their solution that they came up with and kind of won this huge mega hackathon. Not taking much time, I would request Manas to give a brief of this hackathon, a glimpse of it for everybody's interest. To you, Manas.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, a virtual closing ceremony or felicitation ceremony is not really ideal. I mean, in BCIC, from BCIC, we host a lot of hackathons and events, and we always love the physical presence. We get more opportunity of interacting with, in this case, the students, all the stakeholders who have supported the event, and etc. So and then those moments of when we give out trophies to students and they hold it and feel proud in front of a clapping audience. I mean, that feel cannot come in virtual. So hopefully next time we do it, we will have a physical event for closing and have all of you physically present in an auditorium, possibly in Amrita Auditorium, Jaideep. We look forward to that. But nevertheless, this was a great event. The hackathon was intended to encourage young minds to engineers to focus towards solving problems in the citizen services delivery, including smart management of traffic, water, energy, environment, disaster, etc. And we've got quite a few fantastic solution. I personally have sorry sat through some of the presentations initially on the first day, and the quality that I have seen is truly amazing. I mean, some of the solutions like traffic parking management, parking slot management with the help of video analytics and IoT sensors. Those were amazing ideas. So that was the that was a real intent, and I'm pretty sure the intent to an extent till this point of time have been very successful. The collaboration between BCIC, Amrita, and Honeywell, thanks to this entire consortium, thanks to our colleagues in Honeywell, thanks to our colleagues in Amrita, it's been an amazing journey. Initially. There was a lot of brainstorming, and then we went into execution and worked as a beautiful team, cohesive, etc. And so thank you everyone for that. Thank you, Jaraj, from for taking lead from Honeywell side. Thank you, Jadibda and Dr. Prashant played a stellar role. So all of you for taking a lead in the front seat, driving this beautiful event together. Um, Now, the scale that we achieved this time, I mean, given it is the first time, was pretty great. I mean, if we recall the numbers correctly, 100 just this morning, I reconfirmed the numbers from Dr. Prashant, 125 teams, 500 participants across 125 teams is a good scale given that we are doing it for the first time. And definitely next time we do it, we will aim for even more. But I'm sure what we have achieved in this first time of BCIC, Amrita, Honeywell Hackathon, Smart City Hackathon was really amazing. Not going to too much um, more. Just one thing on the purpose of the hackathon. This hackathon had a purpose. The purpose was to bring up solutions to real urban management challenges. And some of the solutions we have experienced during the presentations were really brilliant. And and personally, when I was sitting through and watching those, I mean, experiencing those solutions from the students, I was really kind of very tempted, and I wished that I was still a hands-on techie and fiddling with some of the IoT solutions that they were fiddling with. I mean, presenting. I mean, with some beautiful solutions. And reason I wanted to mention this is that I hope some of this can be taken forward. Jaraj, your help, Honeywell's help is very critical in that. If some real outcome comes out of any of the solutions that were presented with support of Honeywell, I mean, that would be an amazing outcome, really serve the purpose of this hackathon. So I'll leave to Honeywell and Jaraj to lead on that front. Uh, and the other thing, just for the student, a bit of advice for the students from my part is that what you guys have done is not merely a tech innovation. Okay, these solutions that you have created have far-reaching social impacts. They help fellow citizens. They help the departments to help us better. They help people in distress. So very soon, students are going to go to real professions, and uh, what happens is that we get bogged down with our day-to-day work. But from time to time, please try to see that how we can still make some contributions at society at I mean to the society at large. And this hackathon was an example of how this consortium between Amrita, Honeywell, and BCIC came together to make a small contribution to the society. So for when we become professionals, also don't please forget the society in whatever way. There are lots of ways. Please continue to uh, play a part for the society also. Okay, so that's all from my side. Wish you all the best for the year 2022. Over to you, Richa.
Great start, Manas. Thanks for this overview. Um, we have Dr. Ravindran. Dr. Ravindran is the Senior Vice President at Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and also a mentor of Young BCIC Expert Committee, under which aegis we did this Smart City Hackathon. Sir, your kind words to the students, to us, to the team here.
Thank you. Thank you, Richa and Mr. Manas. Respected Mr. Jayaraj Pandian, who has been a great supporter of BCIC, Rajiv ji, Mr. Jaideep, Mr. Prashant, many others who joined this program. Let me begin this by firstly wishing all the participants great amount of luck, fortitude, and in terms of delivery of some of the best products and services through certain iterations in the future. Year 2022 has begun on a solid note for India, and while I'm standing by today at this hour, our president was supposed to join me. As is always my luck, I get the chance to open the batting. So here I am. Uh, our president is struck in a conversation. I'm also part of it. Is happening parallel on the other side. He's with the additional chief secretary, government of Karnataka, discussing on some Atmanirbhar and certain other projects. So BCIC, in its own way, has been supporting the government, supporting industries, supporting the startups, supporting colleges, institutions, NGOs, charitable institutions, to such an extent that yesterday we even changed the bylaws to support colleges, institutions in terms of bringing out the best through participation of the industry. I think Honeywell also stands for that, is how I am able to take this. This is indeed a very well-timed event, possibly the second or third time, if I remember correctly. And this has brought together students from various institutions to build up cases of technical and business expertise put together to create to do some curated projects. The aim is certainly to design, build, and present the innovative solutions, which in turn goes on to become the final concept and proof of delivery, or a prototype or a presentation to some of us. BCIC, through its able leadership and existence of 45 plus years, now has uh, many individuals who have come forward to support good ideas. And I would not like to name the quantum of monies that has possibly been invested into, but this is only growing, and we have the belief that we will certainly have a fund to support these kind of initiatives so that it really meets up with a final outcome. Otherwise, we'll be only talking and leaving it at that. So prize money and all that is certainly there, and we're thankful to um, Amrita, Honeywell, and Honeywell has been the sponsors of the awards, I understand. With such great participation of 400 plus individuals, 120 plus teams, and going all India, I think we are creating a footprint in India. I look forward to greater success for the years to come, and thanking once again the sponsors and all of the organizers for a great initiative. With these words, I now hand it over back to Madam Richa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ravindran, for these kind words. Of course, your support and BCIC Secretariat support always help the chair, co-chair, and the committees to work for the society, for the state, for the nation, to whatever extent that we can. Moving forward, if I can request Mr. Rajiv to share his thoughts on Smart City Hackathon to the students, to the audience here on the call. To you, Rajiv, please.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I will congratulate Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce for conducting this event. I mean, taking an initiative in this specific area when everyone is talking of smart city and safe city, how to engage our youth, our students from the college, some of the premium institutes to start participating in this and bring up the ideas. And if you see, like I was just chatting with Jairaj, what are the final set of idea which is coming up? It's very impressive, and I'm sure like something which I missed. All of you who have gone through this journey. So I will say, Ravi Chandran ji, first of all, congrats and thank you, and then thanks to all the institutes, Manas, Prashant, and Jaideep Nagji, who supported this. Now, from students' point of view, it's an impressive number, 400 students, 125 teams. And if you look into the top three ideas which came up, if I recall, the first one was from NIT Trichy, which was talking about a smart parking solution. Something which in a city like Bangalore, and it's not Bangalore, I am sure everywhere, we all are struggling with. The second idea, I think it was with respect to ambulance management. And that was very apt, like if you look into the COVID situation and in future also, how to manage it very, very effectively and efficiently. And the third one was regarding fall and pain detection. Again, if I look into this particular thing, fall and pain detection, it has many, many more use cases, many more use cases with respect to like someone in distress, need help, someone in area in isolation, how we can reduce the cases where he get the medical attention much, much later. Using the video analytic as a technique, using some of the other AI ML techniques, students came up with nice way of solving this problem. Congratulations to all the teams. But I don't want to stop here because I want to say that rest of the teams, 125 teams, everyone contributed very well. So I want to congratulate all the participants. It's not that just the three teams that did the job. You all did great job. There are a lot of new ideas. There are a lot of implementable things which will improve our society. So congratulations and thank you very much. It's a really big pleasure. It's our honor to be associated with such initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv. For everyone's information, Rajiv is the senior director at Honeywell. Thanks for spending your time, Rajiv, for this. It was short, quick note from you.
Thank you. If you want, I can speak for more also, but I want others also to speak. We have limited time.
You had a few more minutes. I was wondering.
I'll I'll keep chiming
Because
in between.
getting people like you from the industry for the students is a good thing. I mean, we got your time, so why not to have a couple of more minutes you telling about the industry and some advice to these students. If you
Absolutely,
feel.
Richa. I mean, if I have few more minutes, I would certainly love to say that smart city, safe city, especially in India context, are two big ideas going on. And lot of government focus is there. It is not with the intent of doing something just because it is fashionable, but it is with the intent of improving the life of the people, improving our infrastructure, improving the way we are handling some of the perennial problems which are there from last 40, 50 years, whether it is waste management, water, whether it is people, crowd management, and in all these things, probably I will ask students to keep looking and see how we can manage technology in solving these daily problems. A lot of you have actually used AI ML as one way of solving the problem, using video analytic as solving the problem. Uh, Creating a POC and coming up with the idea is first step. But that is not everything. I mean, that is the message I will give to the students. That is not everything. How we can commercialize it. When I am saying commercialize it, I don't mean selling point of view. I mean how we can change into a product which can be implemented. Creating a POC and when I say POC, apologize, I'm using acronyms, but it's a proof of concept versus bringing a product to the market is huge difference. I mean, when people say there are a lot of steps between cup and lip, I mean, it is totally applicable here. It is a huge big difference. Sometimes for companies like us who have strong product development experience, it takes not only months but years to bring it as a product which can scale up to the requirement. Like doing a video editing on a one camera versus think about 14,000 camera or 15,000 camera. I mean, when you talk of the scale, things start becoming very complex. So don't leave the things here. Take it as a passion, take it something which you need to solve it and look into how you will scale it, how you will productize it. This will not only help you now, but this will help you in your career also. And the second thing from specifically career point of view, Richa, what you was mentioning, uh, I can say you anytime you're solving any social problem or any problem linked with people, you will never fail. I mean, any product you will bring up, it will be a success. I mean, that has been my experience here while looking into various safe city and smart city projects. So good wishes and thanks for your participation again.
Thanks, Rajiv. Thanks for your advice. Thanks for your words. It was great. Um, Moving forward,
I think we lost you, Richa.
Yeah. We missed you for half a minute, Richa.
I think in between. Oh, okay. I think my network. I hope it's all okay now.
Yeah, it's working okay now.
All right, great, thanks. Moving forward, if I can request Mr. Joydeep Nag, who is the head of Technology Enabling Center, Amrita Vishwavidyapith. Has been a great support for this event from Amrita side, of course, to speak a few words on this event. To you, Joydeep, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Richa. Thank you, Manas, the young BCIC, Ravindran sir, Rajiv sir, Jairaj, who was always there, and of course, Meena. Okay. And as I was thinking of where is Meena, Meena walked in. I had to admit Meena. So it's very nice that Meena is also there. So it's been a great journey actually. If Jairaj would remember, actually this is a not 6 month journey or a 2-month journey. It's a year and a half journey. If you go back in time, we actually had another meet. We had another hackathon, which was only Amrita exclusive with Honeywell. And it started from there, and we said that let's start it off on a pan-India basis. We were not very sure whether it will click on a pan-India basis because we were not very confident, but it just clicked. And I think the names Honeywell, Amrita, BCIC spelled wonders for everyone. And we had a fantastic group of cohort, as you heard, more than about 120 of them. And each of them were very impressive in their own ways. I would also like to thank Manas for getting the Bangalore and the police Bangalore Police Administration into the picture, because many of these discussions and these I would say inspiration and influences came from the Bangalore police, and then nudges as to what to do and what would be the cohort and what would be the what would be the problem statements. So therefore, each of us, I think, in one way, played a very synergistic role to build this hackathon. So it's very nice to see that today is in some way the finale. We, as Manas said, we would have liked to have a meet together, a meal together, but that's not to be. But but that's fine. But at least this will continue, okay? And at least this inspiration, if it continues over a period of time, we can actually build a great connect with student, with academia, with the industry and the university. As you can see today, one of the Prime Minister's vision and also the government's vision has been to build this industry academia relationship. And I think what the Prime Minister has been pressing on is to build this on a very strong basis, because this will spur incubation, this will spur a new India and a startup culture. That's what he's trying to do. And I think BCIC and us and Honeywell in our own way have been trying to ignite that or kindle that spirit in you, my dear students, because with that spirit, I think you can change India. We have spent our lives doing things which were very different. You will do things which are very different, and therefore you have to think very differently on what you need to do. I'll just step a little back on Amrita so that you feel the connect how Amrita is. Amrita is actually a very young university. It was started in 1994 by Mata Amritanandamayi, whom, as you know, is a world famous humanitarian, a spiritual leader, and a leader of immense standing. She started the university with one technology college in India. It has grown into 7 campuses today, okay, over a period of time. And today in the NIRF rankings, it stands as 5th best university in India. So which is actually not which is actually a tall order for such a young university. So you can draw inspiration actually if you have the will and if you have the passion. It's possible to do things in a big way and a very grand way. So that's the first thing on Amrita. The second thing on Amrita is that we are multidisciplinary. We straddle across various disciplines. So we not only are in technology, we are also into medicine. We have medical colleges. We also straddle across, cybersecurity, AI, ML, and all the cutting edge technologies in terms of faculty as well as in terms of discipline. Okay, so it's a multidisciplinary college and in university. And also the third thing, which is very important, it is guided by the principles of social relevance and giving back to the society. That's what Mata Amritanandamayi's vision and mission is, to give it back to the society. So I would like to leave these 3 things on the table for the students. Number 1, nothing is impossible. You can grow and grow. So don't think that this is the dead end. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you must be able to leverage your strengths in various areas that you have and become great. That's the second thing. And the third thing that is I want to leave with you is that never stop learning, because that's the biggest thing that you have, our asset that you have in human life. So thank you very much for this opportunity. For us, for me, it has been a great learning. For every one of us, it has been a great learning. And we want to thank you, the students, for being with us and being playing such a stellar role. I would, in the end, like to thank Rajiv and Jairaj in particular, and Meena also, for their support. Richa and Manas and Ravindran sir for their support, and of course Prashant and his team, who did an awesome job to turn this around. Okay, they took on things which were which were difficult for them, and they said we'll make it happen. So thank you, Prashant, for being such a, I would say, such a pivot in this and making it happen. So thank you from Amrita's side. I don't know whether I've exceeded Richa, but I was a little carried away. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Joydeep. Manas, you were saying something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe good to share our traffic police story.
Yeah, I think you should actually.
Yeah, so me and Richa went to the traffic control center in Bangalore, and we are pretty apprehensive. Okay, so I mean, we don't deal with cops every day, and we don't know, what they can make out of. We are going to talk to them about a hackathon. Would they? How much would they understand by hackathon and etc. So I mean, we were very, very apprehensive. So when we went there, we were led to a boardroom. I mean, it looks like a corporate boardroom with all kind of equipments, video conferencing equipment. So it actually looked like a well-equipped corporate like boardroom. So we were seated, and here comes group of individuals, and so we were introduced to 5 IPS officer. Each of them were assistant police commissioners in Bangalore Traffic Police. And we were very, very surprised. I mean, that was our first shocker. I mean, 4 IPS officers have come to meet us, give us time to talk, listen about our hackathon and what we want. I mean, that was amazing. And then over the discussions, I mean, it was surprise after surprise. They were telling us what is possible through technology. I mean, we were asking them in simple functional terms in their kind of, something they would know, and they were telling us technology. Okay, so you get we have so many 10,000 cameras or 14,000 cameras on Bangalore streets. We get feed into our control center. So you take that those videos and perform a video analytics and give us this result and that segmentation and this prediction and etc. They were telling us those kind of things. And we were kind of put to shame that okay, fine. They were like, I mean, they were totally technology savvy, and they were talking in technical terms, and we were also realizing, oh yeah, I mean, this is possible, this is possible, this is possible. Yeah. Now we know. So we got some 25 odd beautiful cases, I mean, scenarios on which solutions can be built and shared with Jairaj and team. And yeah, I mean, they literally told us solutions. I mean, they probably didn't know that analytics bit, but till that point, they knew everything.
Very nice.
And very, very helpful. And then we had.
That's really good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we had Ravikante Gowda. He's police commissioner of Bangalore Traffic for the inaugural session as well. So very well supported.
I think that was a great support, and actually that also enthused the whole community of this hackathon people as well.
I think we should go back and close loop with the police saying what we have accomplished.
Let's take it offline, and it's going to be great. And they actually said that please come back to us with some solutions. So if we go back, it is going to be, they are going to fully appreciate that.
Right. We will take that on us. Looks like we lost.
Yeah, in fact, our endeavor for 2022 would be to connect with few more administrations like BBMP, BESCOM, and get more problem statements, which we have been trying this year for 2021 as well. Maybe for the upcoming one, we would start connecting with them soon.
Yeah, BESCOM is another great area where power being one of another challenge.
Yes.
And everyone talking of sustenance, how to come up with some solutions.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Yeah, we'll take it with Raj offline.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Sorry. Mr. Jaydeep, you were saying something, sir.
I was saying power, water, traffic. These are the basic things of a smart city and because intelligent buildings. So I think if you can fuse all these together, it will be a great opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. And BCIC with all capacity, we can connect with various departments and officials and take their time. So thank you. Thank you for this, Jaydeep, sir. Moving on, we have the student winners. Time for them. Of course, this award ceremony, a formal award ceremony, is a delayed one for sure because we have been discussing, contemplating various dates for a physical event, which finally couldn't happen, and we said, okay, let's do it virtually and close this year's hackathon so that we start discussing on the 2022 one. With that, I would request the winners when I call out, if you can unmute yourself and just give a minute's time, brief about your solution for us to know. For people over here from Honeywell, from BCIC, of course, from the industry, to know about your solution and see if we can help. Oh, I see.
Shekhar sir has come.
Yeah, I see Mr. Shekhar. Thanks.
Manas.
Thanks for making it. I mean, we thought you may not join the call, but
No way. I can never say no to. I can never say no to three people: Manas, Richa, and Joydeep.
But Shekhar, thank you so much for joining. And
I just finished the meeting with Additional Chief Secretary, Mrs.
I know we heard. Told us. Yeah. So, but it's an inspiration for the students also that the president of Bangalore Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Commerce, is also joining. Thank you.
More than the president, I'm a personal friend of Joydeep Nag. I should say that. Me and Joydeep Nag goes from 99 onwards, or 99 or 2000 onwards, last 20 years or 2 decades of friendship.
99, yeah.
99, 2 decades of friendship, a very, very deep friendship between not only professionally, even spiritually, we are a little bit
connected.
That's amazing.
Okay, so I can't say no to Jaydeep in his sends a WhatsApp message to me. And above all, I have my dear Manas and Richard, they're my flag bearers of BCAC and IT. So I can't say no to them. Thanks for inviting and thanks for the opportunity.
Rita, I think you should introduce others to Shekhar.
Yes, I was waiting for the conversation to finish. Thank you, Shekhar sir, for joining. Mr. K.R. Shekhar is the senior partner at Deloitte and president associated with BCIC for many years. Sir, just for your information, we have Mr. Rajiv Bhandari, who is the senior director at Honeywell.
Very good.
On the call to address, we have Jairaj Pandyan, again the director engineering at Honeywell. We have Mr. Joydeep, Dr. Prashant from Amrita. We have Ms. Meena from Honeywell. Yeah, so we also have Manu, who has been the jury for the event. We have the students, the winners, and the student volunteers from Amrita. So just a quick one for you to just know about the audience. So a few words from you. to the students, to us on this Smart City Hackathon?
Sure. Thank you, Richa. And Rajiv and Jairaj, Honeywell is not new to me. It is very, very close to me because Deloitte has been a service provider for Honeywell, and I used to lead the relationship on tax for Honeywell.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Before Deloitte became the auditors for Honeywell. I used to interact with Nandakumar, who was retired from Honeywell, a CFO. Right. Murali, who has left, and then we have Ram Ganapathy. I used to interact with Krishna McKinney, who was the founder of Honeywell.
Wow. Yes.
So my relationship with Honeywell is very deep. Of course, since we became auditors of Honeywell, thanks to the global regulation, we can't do the tax work. I know only tax in my life. I do not know about audit. So I'm not doing anything with Honeywell, but thanks to nice in meeting Mr. Rajiv and Jairaj. In fact,
thank you, sir.
Those days I had two clients, one this side, Jaideep Nag and Wipro GE at the Whitefield side, another is Honeywell in the Bannerghatta side. So my office is in the center, so I had to go both sides in the morning and evening. Anyway, jokes apart, thank you so much to Honeywell team for supporting BCAs in this hackathon event. Thanks to my dear friends and colleagues and partners in crime with me on all BCAC matters, both Manas and Richa, who have been a great supporter of BCAC and particularly for me, because it's just not only hackathon, and Manas and Richa are my editors for my Synergy magazine. So if the magazine has come out well, credit goes to them. If the magazine is not bad, then it comes to me because then I am not giving proper guidance to them. That's all I would say that. But they are very great supporters. They've been doing a phenomenal job in BCAC, and but for their enthusiasm and that exuberance, I would say very often with less in Manas, more in Richa, of that bubbling enthusiasm of student exuberance in the hackathon. That's what I would say that. Because Manas has still past the student age, but Richa still looks like a student to me very often. But jokes apart, that exuberance and enthusiasm, what they display on again and again and year on year on organizing this event. In fact, it is close to the budget year. Even Nirmala, finance minister, would be fed up of presenting a budget every year. But both Manas and Niticha, they don't get tired of organizing these events on a year-on-year basis. Thanks to Manas and Richa for spearheading BCSC on this. And special thanks to my dear friend Joydeep Nag and his team from Amrita Institute of Technology for being support from education and academic institution. It is a great initiative where institution, industry, and chamber, all three coming together on doing this, what we call a 3I initiative. It's an amazing one. And it is a great opportunity for the students because when I was fortunately or unfortunately, the gap between me and science was too wide. With the result, I could not even bridge. I could not bridge the gap. There's a huge gap. I was a commerce student right from the day one, and right or wrong, I did not have much knowledge about the science. But irrespective of the subject, what you do, in my student days, I never had an opportunity to get addressed by industry people like Mr. Rajiv Bandari and Jairaj Pandian and Joydeep Nag. We never had an opportunity and in my student days. The only industry whom I met in my college days was one IAS officer. By thanks to the government problems, he became a chairman of Pallavan Transport Corporation Limited, the public transport corporation in Madras. And those days we formed a Department of Commerce Association. I was some of the joint secretary, so we need to invite somebody. That's the only opportunity in my student days where I interacted. But today in your student days, you are interacting with a great set of industrialists and people, professionals. So you have got a great opportunity to learn, which everybody will not get that. And thanks to the team, they provide this platform. So my request to the students is that never stop the habit of learning. My mantra for success, which I always believe, is be with the God of learning, God of earning follows. If you stop the God of learning, God of earning will not be with you. Don't give priority to the God of earning. Earning always follows the learning. Though in alphabet L follows the E, in real life E follows the L. That's all I would say that all of you. So keep the habit of learning always. It is the learning that makes you more intelligent. It is a learning that makes you to get the knowledge thirst. It is a learning that makes you very, very important. There is nothing called learning is fulfilled. Learning can never be fulfilled. Uh, Me and Joydeep are a little bit spiritually inclined, so I can just quote one spiritual story, which I very often I repeat. Uh, Aurobindo Ghosh, when he after his freedom fighter, he settled down in Pondicherry. Aurobindo Ghosh, from a political leader, he became a spiritual leader, or he's trying to become a spiritual leader. So he was looking for somebody from whom he can get that inspiration. So one day he was sitting under a tree in Pondicherry, and then one gentleman, what we call in Tamil called Kullachami. Kullachami means a short man. The short man went past Aurobindo Ghosh, and then Aurobindo Ghosh was not having a cup of tea at that point of time. It was a typical in Tamil Nadu style, the tumbler and what I would call the glass and the saucer and the tumbler he was keeping straight. So Kullachami came, he took the tumbler and he poured it on the reverse side and then he left. So Aurobindo Ghosh said, I learned something out of this. So people around Aurobindo Ghosh asked him, boss, what are you talking? You are learning something out of this Kullachami who absolutely looks unshaven, who looks very ugly. How can you learn something from him? Aurobindo Ghosh said that, no, I learned something. Don't look at who is the person, look at what he taught me. And then what is said is that when he poured the glass, which is empty glass on the reverse side, the indication to me is that you have to unlearn something what is there in your mind so that the fresh ideas will come in. If you keep everything in your mind, the new ideas will not come in. Therefore, you have to first empty yourself so that the new ideas will come in. But people did not take him very seriously. And again, after a couple of weeks, Aurobindo Ghosh was sitting in a small hut or home, whatever way you call. And this gentleman came at the time. Aurobindo Ghosh was having a cup of tea. Again, this gentleman came. This Kullachami came. He took the tea glass, poured the tea glass, same in the reverse direction, and he left. People asked him, what is he doing it? Aurobindo Ghosh said that he's telling me, boss, I told you once you are not practicing it, start practicing, then only you can learn few things. The idea is that it's not about Kullachami. What is important is that if you have to keep learning. That's what Aurobindo Ghosh said. Despite he became a great leader, he found something to learn from a person whom nobody will look at it. That is the art of learning. My request to all the students is that practice the art of learning. Do not look at the person from whom you are learning it. Do not look at the person with whom you are talking. Find out what you can learn from that person, because that learning alone takes you to the greatest heights. As I said, this is my mantra, my philosophy, which I have been practicing to the best of my abilities. Practice the art of learning, yearning follows. Learning stops, yearning stops. That's all my fundamental philosophy in life, which I would like to share with you. The last point which I would like to share to the group, science, technology is all a very big terms. You don't have to bother about whether you understand science, whether you understand technology. I am not a science, I am not a technology guy. You can ask me, I can talk about tax, implications of science, tax in science and technology for hours together, but I am not a science and technology. But I don't mind in learning something which I'm not aware of it. So never ever get bothered or bogged down about what you know. The world is huge. Opportunity to learn is very high. Opportunity to grow is very high. And finally, success always comes only after the hard work. It can never come overnight. Work hard, success is yours. These are all the only few things I can talk about it. I can't talk about science and technology, which there are better pundits are available. I can talk only few things out of my experience, which will help you to grow in your life. Think big, be positive, work hard, success is yours. It may be delayed, but it will never be denied. My only mantra for everybody, which I always tell my kids also, and I also follow that. The clouds cannot hide the sun and the moon forever. It has to come. You will have to blossom at some point of time. All the best to you students. Great going. Wish you all the best. Take the benefit of what you have in with you and what is before you. Thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Shekhar. That was very inspiring for us as well, not just the students. Moving forward, before this talk, I was saying that we will call out the winner's name, and I would request the team to unmute and just speak about this problem, the solution that they presented to the audience here on the call. The third runner-up, the second runner-up we had was from Amrita, Adhina B, Akash, Guna, Surya S, and Nivedya S. They were from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Coimbatore, and their solution was smart detection of accidents / medical emergencies. Anybody from the team on this call?
Yes, am I audible? Good evening,
Yes.
everyone. Good evening, everyone. We are Team Hackmigos from Amrita College. Myself, Adina, and my teammates are Akash, Surya, and Nivedya. The problem statement that we took up was smart medical alert system. We see people losing their lives in road accidents or terminal illness on road because of the late response time of medical assistance and the inability of the ones around them to react aptly. So this motivated us to think of a solution where medical assistance can be alerted and made available at the earliest. According to our solution, we will monitor CCTV footage and our ML algorithm would analyze this footage, and if an event that is a fall is detected, then it would send the alert with the location of the incident to the nearest ambulance driver who has registered with our application or system, thus ensuring timely medical assistance. That was our problem statement and the solution that we came up with.
Very nice, interesting. Congratulations for being the second runner-up. The next one was from Kavin, Yuvi, Ratin Raj, and Sam Jonath. Coincidentally, again from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Coimbatore. And their solution was on Smart Emergency Connect system. Anybody from the team?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. This is Ratan from Team Attack. First of all, I'd like to thank Amrit BCIC and Honeywell for this event, and a special thanks to the organizers and especially Darshan. About our app, it was just something we felt like everyone must have. We felt like as a citizen living in a country, one must have the basic life security. And when it comes to an emergency situation, us being the first responder, one needs to know the best possible way to save a life. It came down to one simple question. With the given seriousness of the emergency situation, should I wait for an ambulance or will that be too late? So what's the exact thing that I should do at that moment as a first responder to save that life? And that was all we had to address in this problem. So came the idea of AidVisor, which is the app that we developed for this hackathon. Using growing technologies, we built an app for bridging the gap between an emergency situation and the aid response for it. So it was all about what could optimally solve these issues. So we listed down the issues that might be the sole reason for this to happen, and then we tried solving them one by one. We also made sure each point this was highly scalable and practical. So yeah, on a nutshell, this was it.
Thank you. Interesting one. I hope we can work together and see how can we move forward with this. The winners were from NIT Trichy, team comprising of Ashwin, Srikumar, Grishwar, Kailash Hari, and Satish Kumar L. And their solution was on smart parking system. Anybody from the team on the call?
Yeah, sure. Am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. So we developed a system called a smart parking system for this hackathon. So our problem statement, like it's something that you see in everyday life, it's the traffic due to wrong parkings or toiling hard to find a parking spot whenever you go to some place or some destination. So we got inspiration from this from our own city in Chennai. That's a place called T Nagar where you have this parking problem when you it's like a shopping space. So to go to any shop, you need to park your car or vehicle, and there's insufficient parking slots whenever it's in festival times. And also a lot of space on the roads, like in the side by you can park it, but it's not parked properly or parked inefficiently, leading to less slots. So we use this particular approach and try to tune it for Indian roads. So in our system, we have a set of multiple cameras, low cost multiple cameras that actually sends images at discrete intervals of time to a local processor. And this processor runs DL algorithms to actually compute how many slots are occupied and how many slots are free based on object detection algorithms, and updates this to some kind of a server in the cloud. So for our testing and deployment, we use a MongoDB database to which this process, basically Raspberry Pi, in our solution. And we have a cloud deployed Node.js website also, which we host on Heroku platform. And in that, you have this database loaded. And also you have the support of Gmaps into it, integrated using APIs. And therefore, you basically just take out a browser and then go to that particular website, our website, and you type in your destination or you give your GPS coordinates, and it will show you the closest parking spot from that particular location, including the number of slots, the top 10 ones sorted based on the distance as well as the number of slots. So this was our solution intended to solve this great parking crisis.
Great, that was really interesting. Sounded very complicated, with various elements coming into the solution, but fabulous. Good job to all the three teams. And of course, you have received the cash prize from Smart City Hackathon. And thanks for participating. Looking forward to either your team or more teams from your institute, university to participate in the next event. Thank you for this. Do we have Mr. Indu Shekhar? Can I request Jairaj for a couple of words for this Smart City Hackathon? You have been a great support throughout, Jairaj.
Yeah, thanks, Richard, and congratulations to all the students who have participated and who won the awards from the Smart City Hackathon. It's been a great journey. As Jaideep mentioned, it is not just for hackathon sake. We started back in 2020, if I remember it right. We started understanding what is smart city, giving introduction session on smart city, technology session on smart city to many of the students community, and then we said, okay, why not do a hackathon? Of course, the COVID kind of disturbed a lot, but otherwise we would have done it a little bit grand from Honeywell and from BCIC, which we always had it in our plan. And but nevertheless, I'd like to thank Amrita University, Joydeep, Prashant. You've been wonderful support, and when I look at 500 plus students collecting each one of their informations from different part of our nation, and collecting 125 individual submission and understanding what is the different ideas, what is the merit of it, and the panel members who were joined from industry, and Richa and Manas, you are right through this exercise. You are part of us and ensuring a great success. And from Honeywell, I'd like to call Meena, Vivek, and Pradeep, who were a part of the panel members. In a nutshell, it's a great journey, and when I look back, it's a three important arm of our countries coming together. Like it's one is commerce, industry, and education. All coming together for one specific purpose on smart city. I think we have done a great channel establishment, I would say. This is something which we would like to leverage from all three perspectives, like from Amrita or from BCIC or from industry, Honeywell. We like to mutually, leverage ourselves to ensure there is a greater degree of a social outcome, that we drive for our nation in terms of smart city outcome. I think that would be a great, results that I would like to see it. And when in the other day when Manas said we had a discussion with police commissioner and we got some 20 plus ideas. Likewise, we'd like to have so many such connect with industry and the actual reality on the ground. What problems are there? What is that we have to solve? Of course, Bangalore is always provides solution. One sending a mission to moon, but we should also solve problems on the streets as well. What we see it across in our own city. If we can do it in our city, I'm sure we can replicate every other city in India. That is something which I'm personally very much passionate about it. This is something what we do for the country. And technology, as Mr. Shekhar sir said, it's a tool. It's a technology or science, or it's a tool. The greater purpose is if, as long as it connects people, as long as it serves the nation, I think I feel great about it. And once again, thanks to every other individual who made this happen. I'd like to ensure this relationship continues. And once again, congratulations to all the winners of this hackathon. Thanks. Over to you, Richard.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you for your talk, plus the support that you had been throughout. Um, the entire event would not have been a good success without the jury that we had. We had Vivek Ramachandran from Honeywell, Naveen from Amrita. We had Biswajit from Tata Elxsi. We had again Mr. Pradeep Kumar, who was from Honeywell, Ms. Bindu Ritwik from Amrita, and Manu from Happiest Mind. So these were the two different panels that we had for evaluating all the entries that we had got. Fortunately, we could have Manu on the call. I don't think others could attend the call today. Manu, if you're there, can you speak for a minute about your experience? Manu, yeah, Manu is there.
Yeah, sure, Richa. Thanks. Am I audible? Richa?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks. It was a great experience being a part of the jury and, hearing through all the students who were participating, looking at their ideas and, trying to make sense out of out of all of those. I would congratulate all the winners on this and all the participants. And I would just like to say that, a lot of these ideas are at a stage where probably, we have identified a problem statement, we have identified a possible way of solving them. Making them into product would probably be the next step. Each of you should aspire to take your ideas to. And I wish you all the best. Winning and losing keeps happening, but I think the real winner would essentially be a team who's able to take their ideas into a real deployment out there in the field. And I would encourage all of you to, seriously think about taking your ideas to that stage. All the best to all of you.
Thank you, Manu, for joining the call. Can I request Dr. Prashant to share his experience? Sir, you have been a great support. I mean, I don't think we could have finished this entire Smart City Hackathon without your support and the student volunteers' support. So a few minutes from you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Richa. Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I can only talk on, I have a really awesome team, faculty members, that is Bindu and Ritwik, and an awesome student team, Darshan, Pragya, Pratana, Raswant and Pragya. So these five musketeers have done an awesome job supporting me for the supporting our faculty team for this hackathon. I just wanted to, so many, all the winners are here, I think, you guys have done an awesome job. Basically, a hackathon is a very good way to learn by doing. And it gives you a wonderful opportunity, an avenue to unleash all your creativity, unleash your innovation and unleash your teamwork. And I think pretty much showed in your your innovations that were showcased for the hackathon. Not only the winning 3 teams, all 100 plus teams that submitted ideas. The only message I want to talk to them is, we have seen so many events where we move from an idea to a prototype. So a hackathon probably ends at that. You have multiple ideas, exciting ideas, which you develop into a prototype. You showcase the prototype, you win the hackathon. Everybody is happy. But I think the challenge is to move to the next level. Move from an idea to a prototype to a product, and a product to a startup. I think that's the way forward. And I hope, I know it's not an easy decision to go for a startup, but I sincerely hope at least some of you, get bitten by that entrepreneurial bug and move towards a startup, move from an idea to a prototype to a product, and a product to a startup. Thank you. All the best. It's really nice collaborating with Bangalore Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and of course Honeywell. We are very much in touch, and let's this relationship continue. Thank you very much. And of course, I didn't want to thank formally, but Joydeep Da is our leader, and he also is played a very important role in inspiring, motivating us to move ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prashant. Thank you is just not enough for you and your team. We couldn't have Mr. Indu Shekhar today on the call. He's the Industry and Commerce. So I guess with this, we would like to close the call. And of course, each other we have thanked enough to all the 3 organizations who came together, Honeywell, Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and Amrita, and we try make this event a success. Thank you to Jairaj once again. Thanks to Meena. Thanks to the entire Honeywell team. Thanks to Rajiv for joining in today. The other jury members, the panelists who gave their time for the entire Smart City Hackathon. Mr. Joydeep from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. From the Bangalore team and the Coimbatore team. Thanks again for the student volunteer. Is just not what we could do, but we would have loved to meet you all personally. Raswant, Aditi, Pragya, and Pratna for leading. Of course, there were many more in the team, but thanks for leading this entire hackathon, coordinating with various teams. With the panels, with the jury, etc. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Thanks to the BCIC Secretariat from Prithvi, Rupa, Mr. Murli, Purshot, everybody in the BCIC Secretariat to help us drive the communication for the event. Dr. Ravindran, your support have been always very inspiring, encouraging for whatever wish to Mr. Shekhar for his belief in organizing this event. Thank you. I think I hope I'm not missed. Thanks to Manas for a great leadership for the Young BCIC committee. Yeah, I think I'm done. If I've not missed any, if I have missed any, apologies on my side. If I have missed any, maybe Manas or Jairaj can help me to patch up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to all
everyone.
the students for participating.
Thank you, Prashant.
Good luck.
Thank you, Manas.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Stay safe. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Stay safe. Thank you.